Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Believe in Bengal podcast presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Solomon Wilcots, and it is my pleasure to welcome to the show Landon Robinson, the Cincinnati Bengals seventh round pick in the 2026 draft. Landon, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
You look like you're just getting off the field, man, putting in some work today. Tell me what your day was like. What were some of the things you guys worked on?
Yeah, no, we woke up early this morning at around 6:45, took the shuttle over to the facility. Then we had a few meetings for a couple hours just learning the new install. Then we went outside and we practiced for about an hour and a half just now, just going over different run schemes, different pass rush techniques, and just making sure we're getting the playbook down. I think as young guys, it's important to
Yeah.
know the plays. That's the first step to getting on the field. So just making sure we're knowing that, getting the plays down through different walkthroughs that we've been doing. So it's been awesome. And just
Sure.
now got off the field and doing a little extra work after. So, always got to get it in.
Look, we got to tell people who you are, and because I just think you have a wonderful story. Obviously, you are an Ohio bred and born young man. You're from the great state of Ohio. Your dad rooted for the Cincinnati Bengals, still does, I assume, and maybe you grew up watching a lot of Cincinnati Bengals games. So why don't you tell Cincinnati Bengals fan where you grew up and how you made it to Cincinnati?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I grew up I think up north at Akron,
Yeah,
Ohio. Grew up there, went to school up there, played multiple sports in high school,
yeah.
wrestled, baseball, football and track. So I always love to compete, always love to just, make myself better or whatever it is, just find a way to make myself better through different sports and everything. And then my junior year, and I really fell in love with football, fell in love with the environment and with the game. But COVID had hit during that time. So I
Yeah.
really couldn't go to any camps. I couldn't put myself out there, physically. So I was just sending my film out through Twitter. Ended up getting an offer to Navy, the Naval Academy. I learned about it, learned, how it develops you as a person, as a man, as a military member, great academics and just all those things, that comes into being a great leader. So, I really enjoyed my time at Navy, enjoyed the process, learned a lot. It grew me in all those ways that I just said, as a leader, as a person, as a man. And then obviously you get to play high level football, playing Notre Dame and then in the Army Navy game and all those big games. So it was such a great, great experience. And now I had the opportunity to be drafted to the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's such a blessing. And every day that I wake up, I'm like, I'm living the dream every single day. And I get to be around the best, best players in the world. So it's such a blessing to be able to learn from those guys and continue to make myself better every day.
Well, many of us consider you to be among the best. You know, the time that you spent in Annapolis, Maryland as a Navy midshipman, that's a high bar now, Landon, and kind of tell us about some of the things that you learned there that you think in your personal life that translate to helping you to become a better football player.
Yes, the Naval Academy, it's a place of discipline, it's a
Hmm.
place of morals, of values, and I
Yeah,
think you take that discipline and you have to be really compartmentalize your day, right? You're
yeah,
busy with with academics, you're busy with the military, busy with football, and all those things. Doing that on a daily basis and being able to balance all those things that really translates over to football and being able to focus. When your assignment is to do this, you're focused on that, and you're going to do your job the best way you possibly can. So I think the discipline and then being able to really compartmentalize your day, that translates over to football a ton. So I think that's made me, a good player, and I'm excited to continue that, as I make this transition into the NFL.
now, take me back to your early days. Who were some of the Bengals players when you were a kid? You were watching Bengals games with your dad, because I think I read that your dad was a Bengals fan. Who were some of the players that maybe you remembered who played for the Bengals during those times where you used to watch games with your dad?
Yeah, when I was a kid, and I'm like most kids, they like, what's football? Like, what is this? Like, these guys, they're playing football, but like who are they? So I
Yeah,
don't remember too many players, but I do remember, Ocho Cinco.
yeah,
Obviously, he was playing at during that time, and he was making
yeah.
up plays. But also Gino Atkins, right? He
That's
was a
right.
a great player. Obviously,
Yeah.
he was a Pro Bowler. So being able to see him on the screen, I remember those players. My dad would just always be going crazy watching the games. And so even now, I watch Gino Atkins film, I watch Aaron Donald
Yeah.
film
Yeah,
on all those guys because they're very similar to my stature and my
that's
play
right.
style. So those are the players that I watched growing up.
Yeah, I was going to say, you go what, 6 feet, 287 pounds. I remember when Aaron Donald was coming out of University of Pittsburgh, he was seldom talked about during that draft class, during the run-up to the draft that year. But boy, did he make a career for himself, what many of us believe will lead to a trip to Canton and the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Gino Atkins was a former fourth round selection with the Cincinnati Bengals. As it turns out, Landon, he's one of the best interior defensive linemen Cincinnati Bengals have had throughout their franchise history. So, how would you say that your game sort of compared to theirs, and maybe with the height and the stature, how does that play to your advantage?
Yes, football is a game of leverage. The
Yep,
low man wins,
that's
and
right.
when you put that natural born leverage in with quickness and strength,
Yep.
speed, and being in great technique, being able to you have great hands and get their hands off and get in the backfield, that obviously translates over to being a great player. So I think all those great players that I just talked about, they all have, they're all the same height as me. They use great leverage. They're quick and they're very strong. So I think I try my best to build my body up, physically, but also use work on my technique or watch film, being able to study the game
Yep.
so that I can go and affect the quarterback in the backfield as much as possible.
You put the tape on and watch many of your games, that's exactly what you see. You see a guy who's got, for one, you play with great energy, and you play with tremendous amount of speed and technical skill. People don't realize that the interior part of the defensive line, it's a highly technical game, hand placement, leverage. And look, I don't know that you were a wrestler. You played enough sports that maybe you didn't have to wrestle. You were great in track, basketball, baseball, football. But man, you tend to win the game of leverage very well.
Did
How do you
wrestle.
come about doing that?
No, I did wrestle.
Okay, there
Wrestling,
you
I did,
go.
sir. No, I wrestled my last 2 years of high school.
Okay.
And I think that truly has helped me out a ton, being able to
Yeah.
use that leverage, stay low to the ground and just be quick
Hmm.
and fast. I think that's translated over to football a ton. So I did wrestle and I think it helped me out so much.
You can tell, man. It is just absolutely phenomenal. I got to tell you this. I heard your name so much from other teams, other scouts around the National Football League that had you not been drafted in the seventh round, I think the Bengals were fortunate to get you there because had you gone undrafted, you would have had so many people knocking down your door. Had you heard anything like that? Many teams were ready to call and sign you as soon as the draft was over. Is that what you were hearing?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we were getting toward the end of the draft, and
Yeah.
I was waiting there with my agent and my family, and there were a bunch of teams. I think probably over 15, 20 different teams texting, just giving us different insight and like, hey, we want to
Yeah.
get on all this stuff. So it was definitely an honor for sure, but it was a blessing to be able to be picked up by the Bengals and being able to be in the room with such a talented room and so many great guys that I
Yeah.
can learn from. So I'm so excited to get to work.
Well, I say we because I'm still a Cincinnati Bengal at heart. I
Sir.
was drafted by the team, played for three different teams in the NFL, but it's always the team that drafts you, that you feel that that's always your home. And a shame on those other teams trying to get you for cheap, trying to get you for a bargain, right? It's
Right.
like, so I'm glad you're wearing Bengal stripes. What is it about playing with this team, knowing that your dad rooted for this team, and then the irony that you would be drafted and get to play in your home state of Ohio?
Yes, sir. It means so much. And like I said earlier, I'm living the dream. I'm
Yeah,
in my home state, playing about 3 hours from home, 3 hour drive. I went
yeah,
home this past weekend, was able to see my family, then
yeah,
drive back and get back to work. So it's such a blessing. Every day I wake up, I'm like, man, I'm here. And
yeah,
every day is an opportunity to grow yourself as a player, as a
yeah,
man, learn from the best of the best here. And then just such a great coaching staff, Coach Montgomery, Coach Taylor, like all those guys, they're so awesome. Great people, great
yeah.
men that I
Mhm.
can learn from. And I'm just so excited to continue to learn and develop and get after it. So I'm so excited.
All right. So look, you walk into a room and man, there's a tremendous lineup. You got a Miles Murphy, a Jonathan Allen, you got Dexter Lawrence. Everybody knows Sexy Dex and Boye Mafe. This is a very deep room of defensive linemen. What comes to mind when you know that you're getting an opportunity to play with some of the best in the world at your position?
It it's an opportunity to learn, be a sponge, right?
Yeah.
That's what I keep telling myself every single day is be a sponge, learn and grow, right?
Hmm.
These guys have played in the league, combined probably 50 years of NFL experience. So,
Yeah.
so I'm just so excited to be in the room every day, pick those guys' brains, and just be able to watch them on the field, and then be able to correct me when I get on the field. Just being able to just learn from those guys. I think that's very important. You can't be too, you can't have a big head and be like, oh man, like I need to be, out there all the time. And like, it's a great room. And there's a lot of great players. And they've proved themselves in the league. And now it's my turn to go and do that by learning from them. So I'm just so excited.
What are some of the things that your defensive line coach, Jerry Montgomery, who's a guy that's been in the league coaching in the NFL for at least 11 years, he's coached in college. What are some of the things that he has told you that you have sort of began to sort of emphasize as you look to improve as a player?
Yes, Coach Montgomery, he's very technical
Hmm.
coach, which is awesome. That's what you need. And
Yeah.
like you said, defensive line, it's very technical. And a lot of people don't really see that, but when you
Yeah.
really break down the game, it's all about hand placement. It's all about where are your eyes. It's all about how you're striking. And
Yeah.
that's the things that we've been going over in practice a lot is just what are your techniques? Where are your hands? Where are you striking?
Mhm.
Where your eyes would need to be in order to affect the quarterback and, get your body coordinated the right way to go and affect the pocket. So, all those things. I think just he's very technical and he's been teaching me just the little details on how to be great.
I want to share a story, and you can correct me if I'm wrong in anywhere in the point of the story, but I think it really is to sort of illustrate your love for the game, and just some of the rare qualities that you possess. Because as I was told the story, it was your last college game, and as you well know, in our game today, a lot of uh, departing seniors, right? They want to get ready for the combine. They want to get ready for these workouts. They want to get ready, quote, for the NFL. And so they'll skip maybe that last game, want to make sure that they emerge healthy and sort of ready to move on. And that you said, no, I'm going to play. This is the last game I get to play with my college teammates. And whatever happens, so be it. And I was told that's what you did. Your love for the game superseded all the other stuff, and you poured yourself into playing in that final game. Tell me more about it. Did I get it right, by the way?
Right, that's right. We played Cincinnati in our bowl game,
Yeah.
our last game of the season, last game of my career, and it was just an opportunity to go out there and play with my guys one more time.
Yeah.
And football, you only get to play college football once, and after that
Yeah.
experience, you're never going to be able to go back. So I knew that, I put in so much time with my brothers, and we've trained for so long together, and
Yeah.
having to sit on the sideline and watch them get out there and play. That's just not who I am and not what I wanted to leave them off with. As the captain of the team and as a player,
Wow.
not what I wanted to do. So I love playing football, and it's just an opportunity to get out there and play one more time with them. So I'm
See,
just glad I
yeah.
did that.
See, that not only speaks to your love of the game, I think it speaks to your character. You understood exactly what you meant to your teammates, to your coaching staff, to the entire program. And to be able to show up under those circumstances and put it on the line for your teammates, man, that I think it's just so phenomenal. I think it speaks well to your character. And we should let people know that you are the AAC Defensive Player of the Year. So I couldn't imagine that your teammates would have went into that last game without one of their best players and their team captain, right?
Right? No way. I couldn't let that happen. Not at all.
That is absolutely phenomenal. I think it bodes well for you in terms of how you're ready to compete. What do you think about your time spent at the Naval Academy that will best prepare you for what you're in for as you're going into this training camp? And so I went into a rookie training camp. I remember what it was like that very first year, and I'm sure it seems like there's going to be a lot to get done. What is it about your past and what you've been able to do so far that leads you to believe that, hey, this is something that's doable for you?
No doubt. I think the Naval Academy, it's a place of perseverance and discipline, right? I kind of
Yeah,
talked about it earlier, but the mental toughness that you develop by going through, hard practices, long days,
yeah,
all
yeah,
those experiences, they build that mental toughness to be able to get through hard things. And training camp's not easy. It's long days.
yeah, yeah.
You're out there, you're banging on the field, and then you have to go and be long meetings, right? So having
Yeah.
that experience in my background and having that Naval Academy experience has grown me to be able to handle that. And it's
Hmm.
nothing new to me. I could be in here all day. So being able to be focused for long periods of time and be able to grow and really soak in that information, even though it's been a long day, I think that's what the Naval Academy has prepared me for.
So take me into what you studied. Okay, you're off the football field, you're at the Naval Academy. Take me through just maybe a few of the courses that you had over the last couple of years that were not only challenging, but that you were able to get done. I'm just trying to compare maybe what some of the subjects that you were diving into when it really got hot and heavy in the classroom.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was a cyber operations major. So,
Wow.
as you can imagine, a lot of classes that involve computers, different
Yep.
coding classes,
Yep.
different, wireless, like how Wi-Fi works,
Yep.
a lot of different STEM classes, because everyone from the Naval Academy graduates with a STEM degree. So
Yeah.
freshman year, everyone takes the same classes. So we all take Calc 1, Calc
Yep.
2, Calc 3, Physics 1 and 2, all those different classes. So, and then the second year, you get your major. So I've taken
Gotcha.
a lot of cyber classes, a lot of STEM classes. So I think it's definitely not, the easiest thing to balance that with football, but I was
Whew.
able to get it done, and here we are. So,
And for the lay people, I should let them know those STEM classes is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, correct?
yes, sir.
Look at you, man. Big brain you got there,
I
Landon.
try. I try. It's a lot of hard work.
So now that they've given you your NFL playbook, how are you grappling with that? That's sort of like learning a new language, isn't it?
It is. It is the new language. It's a new scheme, but I've been soaking it in very well and being able to relay that to Coach Montgomery and being able to ask questions when needed. But I think I've been taking it very well. Sure.
Now, have you primarily played what, the over tackle position, under tackle position, or maybe both? Have you played in what, a 3-4, 4-3? Kind of give us some understanding of the history of what you've been accustomed to playing in.
Yeah, we at Navy we played in all kind of fronts. We played in three
Great.
four, 4-2, all those different schemes. I
Yeah.
think I played at Navy. I played traditionally like the interior, like
Hmm.
2-eye, the shade technique.
Yeah.
But here I'm going to play more of the three tech. But
Oh,
I'm open to
wow.
play anything. I've had that experience, and I'm excited to go wherever Coach Montgomery needs me to. So
Three technique, that sounds like they're going to turn you loose, Landon. That's pretty fun position there.
it is. It sure is. I hope so.
Yeah, people should know that, look, you get to line up in the gap a little bit. You get your quickness is something that's a asset for you. That's what I've noticed. How do you use that to your advantage?
Yeah, the offensive line, they get a play and they line up on the line and they have a man that they're supposed to block, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
they have a different scheme, or they're either going left or going right, or they're pass blocking. And when you're in that gap and they know, okay, I got to block this guy, but you hit them with a little shake and you
Boom.
go where they don't expect you to, and you're already
That's right.
gone. That's obviously how you use that speed to be able
Yeah.
to affect the quarterback and get in that backfield. So I think I do that pretty well. I'm excited to continue to grow that and develop that part of my game, but also just the knowledge piece, being able to
Hmm.
know where what they're going to run, what the offense is
Yeah.
going to run, so that I can
Yeah.
use my quickness effectively to get in that backfield.
What is it about Aaron Donald's game that impressed you the most?
I think just his ability to, everyone always talks about in the process just how small you are, you
Yeah.
can't do it, you don't have long enough arms,
He
but
heard that
he's
too.
just so he sure did, and
Sure.
I think that it was his mentality to I'm going to
Hmm.
go out here and I'm going to go and make plays like no matter what you think, right? That mentality,
Yeah.
but also just his quickness, his speed, his strength. He was one of the strongest dudes in the weight room, right, of all time, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
could see that on the field. So people they see the size and they knock him, but when you get out there and you feel him strike you, he's been in that weight room. And then just the speed and quickness as well. He wasn't the heaviest guy. He played at probably around 280, around like that at most probably. But he was able to be effective at that size. So I think that's what I definitely see that a lot in his game, and that's what I commemorate the most.
Gino Atkins, during his time with the Cincinnati Bengals, was a huge fan favorite. What was it about his game that you liked the most?
I think very, very similar to Aaron Donald. I think his,
Hmm.
his quickness, his
Yeah.
speed, he was very, vertical, get off the ball kind of player, right? And I
Yeah.
think he watched a lot of film. He watched a lot of film on how he affect the team, what type of run scheme is this team running,
Mhm.
and being
Yeah.
able to use that to his advantage. So he's a very smart player, along with his quickness and his speed.
Do you have any idea what number they're going to give you? The jersey
96.
number.
Yes, sir.
96.
That's right. That's
I
right.
think Gino was 97, wasn't he? I think
I
when
think
he
so.
was, yeah, he was
Yes,
Bengal.
sir.
96 is a unique number. I like that number for you. Is that the number you wore in college, right?
It is. Yes, sir.
Isn't that cool? They already knew that. And as soon as you showed
Sure.
up, there you were hanging right there and
Yeah,
hanging in your locker, right?
sure. It was super cool. It was awesome.
Now, what has your dad told you now that you're going to be playing for the Bengals? When he heard the news, what did he have to say to you?
He was over the moon. He was ecstatic. He was crying, and it was such a nice moment to be able to say that I got drafted to his favorite team. So it was awesome. It was a great moment with my family. I had a lot of family around, and it was just
Yeah.
awesome to be able to celebrate with them.
Now, your mom and dad were athletes too. Why don't you tell us more about them?
Yeah, yeah. My mom, she played volleyball in high school.
Yep.
She was a great volleyball player. Went to like all states for volleyball, and then my dad was a gymnast at Kent State. So
That's
he did
right.
that. He was all American gymnast at Kent State, and he crushed it. So that's the little bit of athletic background that I have that shows up in my game from time to time. So
Hey, balance, core strength. That you,
mhm.
hey, look, don't sleep on gymnasts, man. They are powerful people, great athleticism. And so we want to thank dad for and mom for bequeathing
Mhm.
you with all of those talents and all those skills. Before we let you go, just
Mhm.
kind of take me through your mindset and your approach to all of this. And as you go into your rookie training camp, you have a lot of long days ahead of you, but just kind of talk to me about how you plan to approach it all.
My mentality throughout this whole thing is just go
Yeah,
compete every day, just go and give it your all and get 1% better every single day.
yeah.
And, show that you deserve to be out here. Every single day is a
Mhm.
blessing to be able to put the cleats on, be able to put the helmet on and go out there. So, give it all you got, right? Why leave anything in the tank? So my mentality is to go compete, go learn, to go be a sponge and go prove to the coaches that I can play. So
Was there anybody in the NFL that you may have played with that you knew kind of as you were going through the process of getting ready for the draft that you were able to talk to and lean on to help you prepare for it all?
yeah, we had a Rayon Lane. He was
Okay.
a safety that he got drafted last year out of
Yeah.
Navy, and
Hmm.
he's down in Jacksonville right now. But I learned a lot, and I texted him a lot throughout the process, and just what did he do? Because it's a unique process, from the
Yes.
Naval Academy to go to the league. So, so talking to him about what he did, how he handled it mentally, and the
Yeah.
different things that comes up in the process. So I talked with him a lot.
Because that, look, anyone will tell you, you go through your final year of college ball, and you're getting ready for graduation, you're doing exams, but you're also getting ready for the NFL draft, and that's a whole nother schedule that you're keeping. Then you get drafted. Now you're getting ready to try to make the team, and then if you make the team, you've got this rookie. The longest season you ever played in. They play 17 games in the NFL, and I'm sure you already know that, but
Sure.
you've never probably played in a 17 game regular season at any level, right?
No, sir. Yeah, no, it's gonna be new, but I love football, so I'm
There
excited
you
to
go.
experience it.
Well, Landon, hey, we appreciate you. We're excited to have you with the Cincinnati Bengals, man. The journey that you have taken to get here, it's an uncommon one. It's one that maybe even the great Roger Staubach could even talk about. I'm sure you've heard that name a time or two. He's a
Sure.
Cincinnati native, by the way,
Yes,
and a
sir.
former Heisman Trophy winner at the Naval Academy. And so you're following in those footsteps. And so you got the entire town who's rooting for you, my friend. You do know that, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. No, I appreciate that a lot.
All right. We'll continue to stay in touch with you. We wish you all the best. Thank you for joining us here on the Believe in Bingo podcast presented by FanDuel. We'll catch up to you sometime again soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Appreciate you. All right, everyone. Don't forget to join us again next time. We'll see you, everyone.